Hey, what's going on everybody? Commander Crane here, and we're back with another Pioneer video. And today, we're going to be talking about 10 more reprints that we need in the Pioneer format. So a few things we have to go over before we hop into the actual list here. So I've made a few of these videos before. I know I made one about a year ago. It was like, 10 reprints we should have in Pioneer, which the nice thing is a decent amount of those cards actually did eventually make their way into Pioneer. It wasn't even just like Foundation specifically. It's just a whole bunch of other sets, which I guess that leads into the next thing is this list is getting trickier to make. Honestly, Wizards of the Coast has been really, really good about reprinting cards that maybe aren't good enough to play in Modern anymore, or they're just cards that players really like, so they put them into the format so you can play them in Standard and Pioneer. But overall, I really like the reprints they've been doing, but there's still 10 more that I think they should do. The other thing I want to mention, too, with this entire list is I don't have any repeat cards that I've talked about. So I know I've talked about cards like, I don't know, like Thunderbolt Hellkite is a card I've been advocating for years, like Jace the Mind Sculptor. I've talked about, like, Rampant Growth. There's a whole bunch of other cards that I do think should be in Pioneer, but I wanted to talk about 10 more reprints. I didn't want to just talk about the same reprints that I've already discussed a few times. And then the last thing I have to talk about before we really hop into the list here, so let's go and look at the criteria. What's the criteria for this list? It's my opinion. It's just my opinion. Whether or not you're like, oh my gosh, this would ruin the format, or this would be horrible in the format, or what are you even talking about? Why are you even posting YouTube videos? Whatever. It's my opinion. If you don't like my opinion, or you think it's different, let me know what you think in the comment section. Is there a specific card that you think was crazy that's on the list, or crazy that it's not on the list? Just let me know what you think. But okay, let's go and hop into here. So number 10, probably one of the more controversial cards on this list, and you have to hear me out here. All right. It's Stone Rain. So, just Stone Rain. I'm not talking about Pillage. I'm not talking about Molten Rain. I'm not talking about adding on to anything other than that. I'm just saying Stone Rain. So, hear me out. One, it is already in Historic on Arena, and the Ponza deck was okay for a while, but it really wasn't that good, to be honest with you. Like, it's just Stone Rain. Like, it really wasn't good until it got, like, other things like Blood Moon, but we don't want Blood Moon in this format. We just want Stone Rain. I think having one 3-mana land destruction spell is perfectly safe for the format. What this sees playing, I don't know, like maybe a Gruul midrange deck pops out and plays this card, maybe just like a random Gruul aggro, or, something would want a card like this. I don't really know. It's controversial, and I have it at number 10, just because a lot of people do not like land destruction, rightfully so. So that's why I put it at number 10. I used to play a lot of Ponza back in the day, so that's also why I'm a little more, willing to have Stone Rain in Pioneer. I don't know. Just Stone Rain, though, and that's why it's number 10. Okay, number 9 is more of just, it's a fan favorite card, and a card that I used to play a lot back in the day that I always thought was so fun, and that's Primordial Hydra. I've always thought this card was so cool. I mean, like in my casual play group back in the day, so this was like 2015, this card was like, oh my god, this card is insane. It doubles the counters and gets trample. Like, what is this? This card's crazy. And I don't know, I think one way to bring more players into the game is just print cool cards into the format. Print them into Standard, print them into Pioneer. I think that's one way that you could maybe potentially get, like, people that don't play Pioneer, like people that play maybe Commander and are looking to maybe move into a 60-card format. Print some new cool cards, like ones that are just sweet. I mean, Primordial Hydra is a sweet card. I'm not saying the card would be super good or anything like that. Obviously, Hydras would want a card like this. You could maybe even justify it playing in scales because you double the counters, and then you get some additional counters with your card, like hardened scales specifically. I don't know. Primordial Hydra, it's a sweet card, and that's why I've got it at number 9. All right, number 8. I think that there's an argument that this card would probably have the biggest impact in terms of cards featured on this list, and that card is Thought Scour. So it's been a card that I've kind of talked about a little bit, like in the past. The tricky part with Thought Scour is it might just make Izzet Phoenix too good. It really might, which, I mean, like, yeah, it's not something we necessarily want, but hey, if we print Thought Scour and then we get rid of Treasure Cruise, I'll take that trade. I will take that trade every day of the week. But I also really like it in Mill. Like, I played Mill back in the day, and, it was always just, like, nice, like, oh, all right, I'll mill you for 2, and then I'll draw a card. Or if you're playing, like, a blue Graveyard Matters deck, besides Izzet Phoenix, like, maybe you're playing, like, a Sultai pile that has, like, some Threshold or whatever, you would definitely want a card like Thought Scour. So, I don't know. I like Thought Scour, and that's why I've got it at number 8. Okay, number 7. this is a card that no one probably thought that I was going to put on this list here, and that card is Captain of the Watch. I've always loved this card. It's a random bulk rare that no one really plays anymore. The reason I want this in Pioneer, there's only one reason, and it's because of the card Preeminent Captain. It's a 2/2 first striker for 3, and when it attacks, you put a soldier from your hand into play, and every time I see Preeminent Captain, it always reminds me, oh, hey, like, is there any soldiers that I could cheat in and maybe do a sweet deck tech here on the channel? And then I look, and then there's nothing. There's no cool soldiers to really cheat into play, and I know there was a legacy deck back in the day. It was literally called Soldier Stompy, and the idea of the deck was to cheat in Captain of the Watch and other soldiers like into play on like turn 2 or turn 3. That was the whole point of the deck, and it was such a fun deck, and I always wanted to build in legacy, and I never did. But anyways, Captain of the Watch, just put it in so I can play this card with Preeminent Captain. It's a sweet card. I mean, 6 mana, you get a ton of value. Just, yeah, go ahead and put it into the format, and that's why I've got Captain of the Watch at number 7. Okay, number 6. Another controversial card, I would say, in terms of the power level of the Pioneer format, that's Wormcoil Engine. I've always loved Wormcoil Engine. It's probably one of my, like, I would say top 10 favorite cards of all time. It probably floats in, at like 8, 9, or 10, but I've always loved Wormcoil Engine. You just get so much value. 6/6 for 6, Death Touch, Lifelink, and then when it dies, you get the 2 tokens. It's always just so good. Is it maybe a little bit too strong for Pioneer? There's certainly an argument. I think the counterpoint is there's a lot of good exile removal in the format right now, so it's not like this card's like the end-all be-all. But I don't know. I mean, it's 6 mana. It's not like this card's really coming into play that quick. Honestly, best fit, I don't know. Any deck could play it. I mean, a ramp deck would probably want it. I mean, maybe even some aggro decks would potentially want it. At least, if you're an aggro deck that goes higher up on the curve. Monster decks would want this. Heck, even mid-range and control would maybe want it. I don't know. It's just a really good card, and I think it'd be really fun for it to enter the format. And that's why I've got it at number 6. And at number 5, this card is on here just because of my brother, Common Kolb. He loves this card, so I had to feature it on here. It's General Ferrus Rockrick. He's always talked about wanting this card in Pioneer, and honestly, it's a pretty sweet card. I don't think it would be too good for the format. Obviously, whenever you cast a multicolor spell, create a 4/4 red and white golem artifact creature token, I don't think it's too good. Is it good? Oh yeah, play this card with Lightning Helix and Boros Charm, or splash other colors and play whatever you want. It doesn't even matter. It's just a sweet card. Obviously, I think a Boros hero deck would be pretty cool. You play General Ferrus Rockrick with Hero of Precinct 1, so that way whenever you cast a multicolor spell, you're getting a ton of tokens. And then there's also the Aurelia's, like the Anthem effect that could be pretty good with this. I don't know. The card's just really sweet. I don't like putting Modern Horizons cards on lists like this, just because you never really know. They were obviously intended with just going straight to Modern, so it's not really a card that they probably were comfortable with, putting in like Standard to be able to be legal in Pioneer. But I don't know. I like this card, and that's why I've got it at number 5. Okay, number 4, you knew that this card was going to be in the thumbnail here. It's Damnation. So here's the thing with Damnation. For those who think, what, that's just way too powerful. It's way too powerful for the format. Okay, how many white unconditional wraths are in this format? So obviously we have the cards that are like, oh, if a certain condition is met, you or your opponent get to draw a card, like whatever. But now we have literal actual Day of Judgment in the format, like, or not, yeah, Day of Judgment. So sure, it can't be regenerated. There's like one good creature in this format that can actually regenerate. So at this point, why can't black have a non-conditional board wipe? Every black, board wipe can only hit certain things, like Extinction Event, Exiles, but it only hits, odd or even converted mana cost. Then you have like Languish, -4/-4, so it doesn't kill everything. You have cards like Ritual of Soot that destroy with CMC 3 or less. It's like, like black, is it illegal for black to have a good board wipe in Pioneer? I don't know. Apparently it is. You do have Deadly Cover-Up. I'll give them credit where credit's due. Deadly Cover-Up is by far the best black board wipe in the format, but it is 5 mana. And the black decks deserve to have a 4 mana Wrath. To be clear, I would lose to this card so much in Pioneer. Like, I'm curving out with all of my aggro decks. I would lose to this card a ton, so that should definitely tell you why I think this should be in Pioneer, and that's why I've got it at number 4. Okay, top 3 territory here. So number 3, this is a super biased card. It's Autumn's Veil. Okay, fine. If you think that Veil of Summer is too good, whatever, take it out of the format. but give green another way to fight those pesky blue or black decks. Just give us Autumn's Veil. You know, it's similar, it doesn't draw a card, spells you control can't be countered by blue or black spells this turn, and your creatures can't be the targets of blue or black spells. So it's pretty much the same thing as Veil of Summer, except you don't draw the card. Okay, that's fine. Don't have it replace itself. Just give us Autumn's Veil. You don't even have to give us the whole cycle. Since most of the cycle from M12, it was like Combustion and Deathmark, which actually is in the format right now. So some of the cards are a little irrelevant. So maybe you just give us like half a cycle or something like that. I don't know. Just give us Autumn's Veil. Don't give us Veil of Summer, whatever. It's not I mean, it stinks, but whatever. Just give us Autumn's Veil for the format. Okay, number 2, I have Grim Lavamancer. I've always really loved this card, and I'm kind of surprised that it's not in Pioneer yet. It's a fan favorite card. So many people like to play it. It has relevant creature typing, and it's just a sweet effect. I mean, a red exile 2 cards from your graveyard, that's not hard to do depending on what deck you're playing. If you're playing like Burn, obviously, okay, you know, exile might light up the stage of my Wizard's Lightning. I'll deal 2 more damage to you. You have your just regular Wizards decks, which definitely would take advantage of the fact that it is a wizard. You have like your Is It Phoenix decks that got 200 cards that they can exile from their graveyard to be able to activate it. I don't know. It's a cool card. It's a simple card. Maybe it could be put into an upcoming core set. Who knows? But that's why I've got Grim Lavamancer at number 2. In the number 1 card, again, the recency, or not the recency bias, but definitely my bias is here with this card. Hear me out. It's a sweet card. You either love it or you hate it. It's Thragtusk. Always carry 2 spears if you're going to take down Thragtusk, and I think it would just be sweet for the format for multiple reasons. One, it's still pretty solid in terms of, you know, like today's Pioneer format. The closest thing we have to this is that Rhino from like a few years ago in Capenna, where it's like it enters and you gain 5, and then when it like dies, you make a 3/3, and then it has like the blitz or whatever. It's not as good as Thragtusk though, in the sense that Thragtusk says when it leaves the battlefield. So, you know, there's a ton of good exile effects in really just in standard in Pioneer right now. So at least you do get some additional value if you're playing your green decks, you know, because it stinks when you tap like 5, 6, 7 mana for your big green fatty, and then all of a sudden like they just paid 2 mana, exile it, and you don't get any value. So at least you do get some value with Thragtusk, but it'd also be cool in some blink decks, you know, like we have some like, you know, Restoration Angels at home kind of thing. You could do some cool blinking with that. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool. I love Thragtusk. It's a simple card. New players love it. Experienced players have some fond memories of it, or unfond memories if you're like a super aggro burn player and you've lost to Thragtusk a lot. But anyways, Thragtusk is number 1 on my list. I would love to see it and the other 9 cards that I mentioned here on the list. So definitely let me know in the comment section below if you disagree with the list or if you agree with it. If you have any specific cards that you would love to see come back into Pioneer. I've talked about a whole bunch of different ones. So if you mentioned like a card like Snapcaster Mage or something like that, I've definitely talked about it in a previous video, and you should definitely check out those other videos. Okay, so that takes us to the end of the video here. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel here. I post Pioneer content pretty much every other day. So if you love Pioneer, you should definitely subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Huge shout out to our channel members, Ralph, Matt, Arcadius, Ray, Gary, Suranoki, Nightred3, and our premium channel member, Michael D. If you'd like to be a channel member, it starts at $1 a month, and you get access to the exclusive Commander Crane Discord, as well as other features here on the channel. So, I'm Commander Crane, thanks for watching this video, and I hope to catch you in the next one.